The Young and the Restless Spoilers. Nick was in the locked room, exhausted. He was addicted to painkillers, and when he finished them, he exhibited terrifying symptoms. Nick was constantly muttering incoherently, unaware of what he was saying. And Sharon had discovered something. The atmosphere in the shed at Newman Farm was so thick with tension that it felt like a physical weight was pressing down on everyone's lungs. Everything was spiraling out of control. Sharon wanted to ask something important, and no one could answer except Nick. Who was Noah really in this house? Why had he never listened to Sharon? "Nick, please sit down," Sharon asked, her voice choked with emotion. She sat on the edge of the sofa, her hands clenched so tightly that her knuckles turned white. "You've been pacing back and forth for an hour. You're scaring me. You're scaring Noah." Noah Newman was terrified, covering his ears as he awaited the truth to be revealed. He wanted to know who he was, and who his biological parents were. "Mom's right, Dad. You're like under siege. Does this have anything to do with the merger? Is it Victor? Just tell us." Nick turned around, his eyes wide. Everything fell silent in fearful listening. "It's not Victor," he snapped, his voice startling them both. He took a deep breath, running his hand through his hair. It's complicated. I just need you two to trust me. There are things from the past that are surfacing." "What things?" Noah stood up, his patience wearing thin. "I'm not a child anymore, Dad. You don't need to protect me from Grandpa's schemes or corporate takeovers anymore. What are you hiding?" Nick looked at his son, really looked. He saw the jawline was similar to his own, but in the eyes, my God. For the first time in decades, he allowed himself to look into the eyes. They weren't Sharon's. They had a fire, a particularly intense shade that belonged to someone entirely different. "I can't," Nick whispered, his voice trembling. "If I say it, it'll be true." "It's true if it makes you act like this." Sharon rose, moving towards him. She reached out, placing her hands on his arm. "Nick, whatever happens, we can get through it. We're a family. You, me, and Noah. We've survived everything." Nick flinched at her touch. "That's the problem, Sharon. We built this life on a foundation that's about to crumble." He stepped back, walking toward the fireplace, the flames casting long, dancing shadows across his face. "I met her today. She knows. She'll take advantage of it." "Meted who?" Sharon pressed. "Who's threatening us?" "Phyllis," Nick muttered, the name escaping his lips like a curse. Sharon rolled her eyes, a snort escaping her throat. "Phyllis? About the hotel again? Or did she hack into Newman's server?" "Nick, really, Phyllis always—" "It's not business," Nick roared, veins bulging. "It's about Noah. She knows she's his mother." The silence that followed was absolute. It was like a vacuum, sucking all the oxygen out of the room. Sharon was speechless, her mouth slightly agape, words stuck on her tongue. She blinked once, twice, trying to understand what he meant. "What? What did you say?" Noah let out a dry, confused laugh. "Dad, what are you talking about? Mom's right here. Phyllis is Summer's mother. What are you saying? It makes no sense." Nick turned to face them, his face pale, completely defenseless. The secret he'd buried over 20 years of lies and paperwork was surfacing. "It happened a year ago, before you were born," Nick said, his voice empty, devoid of emotion as the emotional barrier crumbled. "Sharon and we were on a temporary break. Things were very messy. I was in Milan for a month. Phyllis was there too. It happened." "Stop it," Sharon whispered, shaking her head. "Nick, stop it. I gave birth to your child. I remember the labor. I remember the pain." "You remember the accident," Nick said cruelly, tears finally falling. "You were in a coma, Sharon. You lost your baby. My father, Victor, he didn't want you to wake up in that pain. Phyllis had a baby boy in Switzerland a week before. She didn't want the baby. She was chasing a rock star. She wasn't ready to be a mother. We made a deal, a dark, terrible deal." "You're lying!" Sharon shrieked, her voice heart-wrenching. She grabbed a vase from the side table and threw it against the wall, shattering it into 1,000 glittering pieces. "You're a liar, Nicholas Newman. How dare you? How dare you make up this sick story?"